What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Social Club where everyone has a voice. I'm your host, Jacob Hale. And real quick, go ahead, like, follow, subscribe, check out all of our other content, all that stuff. Major goal here, we're trying to get to 1,000 subs. So you guys, please just hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and of course, let your voice be heard because everyone has a voice on this platform. So you already know what the title is about. You already know what I'm going to talk about. So just let me know your thoughts below. But before I get to the topic of the college football playoffs and my final thoughts on it before the game start, let's talk about Sherrone Moore. I did not think I really didn't want to talk about it, to be honest with you, because we've seen this before and it's probably going to happen again in the future. But just to be clear, to all men, to all people out there, do not have relationships in your workplace, okay? If you didn't know now, please do not have relationships in your workplace. It ain't worth it. And if we're being honest, the person is not that attractive. At least not enough for you to lose your job. I will say that. And this guy lost $6 million a year doing that. I don't understand for the life of me how you can look at $6 million a year, look yourself in the eye and say, I'm going to do something to completely jeopardize that for absolutely no reason. No foresight, no thought. Listen, I don't condone cheating in any regard. But if there was ever a rule book on how to do it, that definitely was not the way to do it. I don't know, maybe the thousands of miles of away games that you guys go to, maybe you could have worked something out there. Just a thought. But no, you're gonna do it with your coworker, which not only is bad because you're cheating regardless, is one. Number two, now you're violating school guidelines and now you're getting fired. At least if you did something outside the realm of school, they may have been able to work with you on that. It's not moral. This isn't a moral argument. Again, I'm against cheating. It's not moral, but I'm just making that clear. It's like that probably would help you. And for all you guys in the chat and in the comments that are going to be like, what's wrong with, you shouldn't get fired over that? Listen, you're getting paid $6 million to not only be a good football coach, but you represent a nationally known school. Yes, they can fire you over something like that. They're giving you $6 million. Let's put it the other way. I would give you $6 million for you not to cheat. Are you taking the money? Thank you for proving my point. Next point. Most of you guys don't understand. Your company does have guidelines with that, especially in corporate America, to where you can make $60K a year and you can be fired over something like that. You can't do that. So that's just my only thoughts. Obviously, he's a complete idiot. There's plenty of him before. What was the other one? Emi Udoka. I mean, thankfully for him, he's able to revitalize his career. I don't really know what his relationship status is at this point because I haven't kept track of it. Hopefully they worked it out. It's always great for families to stay together. I'm always a big component of that. Yeah, man, I just pray for the guy. Sherrone Moore, man. Just idiot of the century right there. Just fumbling generational wealth. There's nothing better to say. There's no other way to talk about it. Just fumbling generational wealth. Those are my thoughts. Anyway, moving on to the actual college football playoffs, which, sidebar, I do think if Sherrone Moore beat Ohio State, this would have never happened because college football is very immoral. Just hint for you guys. I do think that would have never happened. But anyway, going to the college football playoffs. So there's a lot of talks and a lot of thoughts that people have been having. Everyone's got their big thing and everyone's always so in a rush. It's like, I gotta get my video out now to talk about, my thoughts. This is outrageous. This is terrible. I just wanted to take a second. I've said a lot of things about these playoff teams before in my previous videos. Number one, I did say that there shouldn't be an ACC team in the playoffs. In a different video, I also talked about how much I dislike Notre Dame and how I felt like they were cheating the system by not only not being in a conference, but the way they're scheduling their games throughout the year. they're already guaranteeing maybe 1 to 2 hard games a year, and they're going to do it early because they know from a committee standpoint, if you lose early for some reason, they're just going to forget about it. So I made a lot of thoughts. I just wanted to take a second to digest the actual bracket and really think about how I felt about it, what the committee may have thought. Do I even think the committee's right or wrong or whatever in that sense? And my overall thought about the college football playoff bracket right now is this might have been the best bracket they've ever made since starting the playoffs in terms of real competition and also legitimate fairness and no contradictions of their own rules that they have started. So I actually employed the committee for how they create this bracket, and they've done. It takes a lot of respect, honestly. It takes a lot of confidence to make the moves that they made towards the end, because essentially Miami got rewarded by giving the committee another week to think about it. That's basically what happened. And I honestly felt like they made the right decision on that. So this is less of me trying to bash the committee, because the committee's always going to get bashed no matter what happens, because everyone has their favorite team. Yeah, I mean, if it was up to me, I would try to squeeze LSU in there. I'm an LSU fan. It happens, right? But I actually think this is very reasonable. I'm going to break down why I think it's reasonable based off of some of the complaints that I've heard. The first complaint, and this is the biggest one that I hear, is that a lot of people are saying there shouldn't be group of 5 teams that are in the playoffs anyway. And even if you want to argue that one should be in there, there definitely shouldn't be 2. So a lot of people believe that Tulane and James Madison do not belong in the playoffs, and they advocated for a Vanderbilt, Notre Dame as another one. Maybe even a Texas could squeeze in there in that slot, right? Well, this made me realize that maybe I should start. I get my football takes on here, but maybe I should really start breaking down just very basic football knowledge and football information, because for someone to make a take like that means that they don't even understand the actual rules of how a team makes it to the college football playoffs. So let me just break this down real quick. Number 1, the 5 highest ranked conference championship teams automatically get a bid to make the playoffs. And then after that, there are 7 at-large teams of the highest rank that make it in after that. The year before, the 5 conference winners got automatic, or the 4 out of the 5 got automatic buys. And they went away with that because what happened was Boise State got a bye, but they clearly were not that good of a team to really get a bye, and it messed up the whole bracket and it put Oregon as the number 1 team in a big disadvantage. So that's kind of what happened with that. So let's focus on the 5 conferences here. Now remember, there's only a Power 4 now. So there's only 4 major conferences, and then there's all the group of 5 teams, which is 5. So let's start off SEC, number 1. So we already know what happened with that. Alabama, Georgia won. Big Ten. So we had Indiana and Ohio State. Indiana won, which was phenomenal. I didn't say anything about that. Awesome. Congrats to Indiana. I love that. Up here, we had the Big 12. And that was Texas Tech and BYU. Texas Tech won. All right, so we got 3 right there that we put in. Number 4 was the ACC, and this is where it starts getting tricky. ACC had a ranked Virginia team, but an unranked Duke team, so that's going to matter later. And then the 5th one of the highest rank ended up being the American Conference, so that was Tulane and North Texas, and Tulane ended up winning. Going back to the ACC, this is what happened here. The ACC messed up their own conference by having this strange rule. So basically what happened was, it's more, the ACC ranked it off of conference wins than just overall wins. So overall wins matter, but conference wins was the most important thing. So Duke came in at 7-5, but they were 6-1 in the conference and like 1-4 in out of conference games. So because of that, they were actually at the top of the ACC, even though Miami, Virginia, I believe SMU as well. There's so many teams that had better records than Duke in the ACC, but because they played so well in conference play, they were able to go to the conference championship. They ended up winning. So what happened was Duke was the only unranked team in the Power 5, or not Power 5, in these top 5 conferences. So because Duke was the only unranked team, there was no way Duke can actually make the playoffs from there because they were an unranked team. So now we only have 4 slots still solidified. So again, there was Georgia, Indiana, Texas Tech, and Tulane from the American Conference, which is a group of 5 team. Then they had to look at what was the next highest ranked conference winner in the Power 4 or in the group of 5. And that was the Sun Belt Conference because James Madison was ranked in the top 25. So James Madison became that 5th team of the conference championships that got an automatic bid. Why does this matter? Now that you know that, you understand that Vanderbilt, Notre Dame, Texas is not in the conversation of these 5 teams to make it. There is no realm of reality that Vanderbilt, without a conference championship, could take one of these conference championship spots. And if you guys want to take away that rule for whatever reason you want to think about, then go change the rule. But that's not the rule. So you have to live with that. And then it's the 7 at-large highest ranked teams after that. So this is the area where you can have a Vanderbilt, where you can have a Texas, where you can have a Notre Dame and all that stuff. I hope that's clear. I want to make that clear. So just in the future, if you're ever at a bar and someone's like, James Madison shouldn't be in the playoffs, you're like, okay, who should be in over James Madison? And they say a team that did not win a conference championship, you know he does not know ball, because that is a very clear rule that they have. So now I've figured that out. Let's go to the next thing, and it's strictly about Notre Dame, Miami, Alabama, because these 3 teams are very important on what happened, what they had to decide. So Alabama ran into a major problem, was that they were a 2-loss team going into the conference championship. If they lost that conference championship game, that would make them a 3-loss team. This isn't a rule, but it seems very clear that 3 losses, they're probably not going to let you in the playoffs. That seems to be a trend that I've seen. But regardless, Bama, if they would have lost the conference championship, they would have had 3 losses. The bigger issue with that is that conference championship game is an extra game. And just like earlier when I was like the 5 conference championship winners get to go to the playoffs, they don't want to over leverage the win and loss of that game because it de-incentivizes people for playing that game. So to give you a big example of that, if I'm an undefeated team and if I lose 1 game at the end of the year, I don't go to that conference championship game, there is a realm of reality to where a team could take a dive and not win their last game so they don't have to go to the conference championship game, knowing that they're still going to be seeded. Sounds strange, but that's pretty much what their fear is and why they want to keep that rule in with the conference teams and say we're not going to weight it as hard as it should be. So that's kind of the Alabama issue, is that if you took Alabama out of the playoffs, you're basically saying that losing in the conference championship is weighted just like a regular season game. And if that's the case, then you're going to see issues with people not wanting to play in the conference championship game, or feeling a need that we have to reserve our guys, get ready for the playoffs. It'll just be the next step over, so people won't take it that seriously. And you don't want that for conferences, because that's still a very big moneymaker for college football teams. The second thing that needs to be decided is the issue between Miami and Notre Dame. So the issue between Miami and Notre Dame is that the committee had an issue with big teams scheduling cupcake teams out of conference. So to incentivize them to schedule meaningful games, they introduced this head-to-head rule, which basically means they're going to consider if this team has faced this team during the regular season, if they won, that's going to matter with seeding down the road to make these games meaningful. to make this even clearer for you guys, if they didn't do that, then there's no reason for you to schedule a hard out of conference game, because all it does is bring the odds of you losing. You might as well just do a cupcake game. So to make sure people don't do that, they're telling you if you play head to head, that's going to help you towards the end of the season when they evaluate the rankings of the team and where to put one team over the other. They made a critical mistake putting Notre Dame over Miami when Miami beat Notre Dame earlier in the season. You can go through the semantics of which team you think is actually better, but at the end of the day, those teams actually faced, and one team won, one team lost. So if Miami got snubbed over Notre Dame, basically what that would tell everyone else is that, hey, don't play hard opponents out of conference. It's pointless. We don't care. It's not going to be it's going to be used against you. There's no benefit to it. So between these three teams, Alabama, Notre Dame, Miami, those were the two biggest issues that the committee had to solve for. One, do head-to-head games matter anymore? Well, if it did matter, then Miami should go to the playoffs if it's between Miami and Notre Dame. Second thing, are you going to be penalized for losing an extra game in the conference championship? That would be Alabama. If it is penalized, then from a conference standpoint, if you know you're going to make the playoffs, is it worth it risking and putting an extra game in, risking your guys getting hurt? If you know if you lose, that can also be bad against you and mess up your seeding. So with those two things in mind, that's why I appreciate how the committee came to their senses and went up with the right choices that, yes, head-to-head games still matter. We want to see good out-of-conference games like Ohio State and Texas at the beginning of the year, if you guys remember. And also, yes, we want you guys to play conference championship games. We want those games to be meaningful. We don't want it to overly hurt you in your seeding. They solved both of those issues. I appreciate that. I think it's a tough deal for Notre Dame, but let's be honest, Notre Dame has been cheating the system. And I appreciate them really making it loud and clear that it's like, you're not in a conference, which is very important. That is a mess up of the rules, so you can just build your own schedule however you like, which is very unfair. And number two, because there's no conference for you to adjust your play to, and you're making all these cupcake games and just blowing people out, it's very hard to understand how to rank you. So you're always going to be in a super high ranking without enough actual signature ranked wins to say that you're an actual good or bad team. Now, last year that worked. Last year that team lost to NIU, but also went to the college football championship game. So in that area, you would say they made the right choice in keeping Notre Dame in the playoffs. But it doesn't make sense. It's a clear violation. It's a clear jump in the system. It's very bad. It's not good for college football. And it's very annoying for other teams that actually have to play in the conference. So I wanted to bring those two up. I felt like that was important. You guys let me know if you have any other questions regarding the college football playoffs. Again, I enjoy it. I like what they did. I agree with their stance and what they were going for. And I think this is going to be an amazing college football playoffs. So with that, guys, I appreciate it. Go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. Other than that, man, take care and see you in the next one.